Ladies, gentlemen, let the show begin. Alright, do you like video games? And I know you do. What about entertainment? We got that too. Video game, I'm not a video game. Video game, oh no, what's the name? Video Game Armada. This is the one true, I'm the gamer boss Braun.
And the information on for True Backlash.
And the First Lady of Media Blue.
Time for another movie review, and it's a first. First, this is a movie review on Mother's Day. Yay! So, any mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. We couldn't be here without you, quite literally. And now, figuratively, not literally. Both. I don't know.
Both.
And second, we decided that it's such a beautiful day out here, it's time to record outside.
Yes.
That's right. Be one with nature with all our tech gadgets.
Yay.
Just as God intended. So now,
Nice bird cue. How did you do that?
I didn't. We got some gangster birds around here, so don't mind them.
Robins, they are little thugs, and we all know it.
With a mohawk, no
With
less.
a mohawk. We have one with a mohawk, for real, for real.
Yeah.
We'll take a picture. We'll post it as soon as we get him to stand still.
If that ever happens, he might be someone's dinner. I don't know.
I've threatened his life, so we
Many
may not get him.
times. many times. But yeah, seriously, the best thing and most special thing, below Mother's Day, of course, is we saw Captain America: Civil War. Is it as good as everyone on the internet says?
Wait. I thought this was Captain America versus the Serpent Society. Have I been misled?
I think you've been misled a little bit.
Oh.
Certainly, there aren't certainly serpents here.
I mean, forget about those bums like Madam Hydra, aka Viper, and the Constrictor from Marvel's Avengers Alliance. I wanted to see Cottonmouth and Copperhead and other snake puns.
The Rattler. Nope, no snakes here, although there was some Hydras. I guess what's left of Hydra presence, but we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Or maybe not, I don't know. This is the part of the review we talk about the story after all. So, Blacklash. Yes.
Blacklash. That's racist.
Blue and Blacklash.
Black and Blue Lash.
Black and Blue
And no, I'm not the one who's drinking, but I sound like I'm drunk.
All right.
So Backlash, if you don't mind.
Okay, so the way we gotta do the synopsis, we gotta do it right. So that involves, okay, I won't say it, but I'll start by saying this. The Avengers, they start out there happy and gay and la 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 la. We are friends forever, and everything was going well. Iron Man and Hawkeye have stayed retired up to the point of starting the movie, and everything's going well until they finally find Frank Grillo's character, aka what's her name? Monarch family woman, Sofia Vergara's hubby, aka Crossbones, and they have a fight in Nigeria. Sadly, that fight goes way well south.
Sofia Vergara's husband was in this movie?
Frank Grillo. Oh wait, no.
No, that's not
Whoops.
him. I'm thinking, how did I miss him?
No. Okay, Okay, forgive me. That's also racist. Mixing up Frank Grillo with Joe
Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello.
Not him.
All right. Okay.
Let the woman that's present say it was not Joe Manganiello.
Okay. So
that's one of the first times ever that blew out fact-finded you on almost
Might
anything.
be the last one, so I'm going to relish in it. I'll drink to that.
Their fight with Frank Grillo as aka Brock Rumlow, Crossbones, and comic book readers know it goes way well south, and I won't give you details. You'll have to find out what happens. But that was one going south too many. And General Thunderbolt Ross, hey, it's been since 2008, boy. Where you been? So
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
But not even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's Talbot's territory, yo.
I'm getting all these mustache military types confused.
Yeah.
This is the episode where we get everything confused.
Yep. So
it's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
So it's like, so they said, in backwards order, for a little spice, Nigeria, Sokovia, aka the fake country they use in Age of Ultron. We won't go into that either. If you still haven't seen that movie, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And before that was Captain America 2: The Winter Soldier, Washington, with all those helicarriers and all that craziness, and of course, with the Avengers in New York. Even though for the most part the Avengers didn't start all of this, Captain America didn't start all of this, the way that the Avengers did things caused collateral damage. So they set up the Sokovia Accords to make sure that these heroes are registered by the government. Tony, racked with grief over what happened in Sokovia and what happened with Ultron, is siding with it. So is his military man homie Rhodey, but Steve and Sam are not with this at all. Have it in mind, you, Sam is also a military man. So is Cap. They don't see the same side, and they don't feel like this is the right thing to do. So the Avengers pretty much take sides. And before you know it, even worse crap starts to happen.
Of course, because when the world's most powerful superheroes go into a civil war, wink,
Yeah.
what could possibly go wrong?
Well, and that worse stuff involves the Black Panther now gunning for the Winter Soldier's head. So now all this crap is happening. The Sokovia Accords and the Black Panther drama all brings Steve out to help find the Winter Soldier and protect him, because clearly something is wrong. And that makes the whole situation worse from there. And it gets a lot worse before it gets better. There's a lot of cameos involved. They spend enough screen time for each character you see in the trailers as much as they can. But ultimately, you know, they just give them enough screen time so you can finally get to that climax of them running at an airport you've seen 100,000 times in the trailer.
No, the running at each other since the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
But you know, I gotta say that a lot of those positions in how they ran and how they froze and how they meant each other, I think they were really reminiscent of some of the DC type stuff where they had Superman and Batman kind of like...
Trust me. In the aftermath, ooh boy, we're gonna have words, let me tell you.
It's like
but
so
for now,
funny.
this is the, as they say on the internet, the non-spoiler version of our commentary and the official review. So, story-wise, character-wise, how'd you guys feel about it?
Well, the fact that you're learning more about Sharon Carter, who pretty much had a glorified cameo in the Captain America Winter Soldier.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah. Yeah, and
It's no Agent Carter Season 2, baby.
No.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's Peggy Carter, not Sharon, the blonde.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, spoilers, non-spoilers. We hopefully didn't give away to people something. Whoops. On the other hand, this is the first time, and this isn't even a spoiler, man, anymore. This is the first time you're going to see this version of Spider-Man. Not even a spoiler anymore, guys. Come on, quit kidding yourselves. Mm-hmm. And the first time we see Black Panther. So they really had to give you introductions to all those characters to give you a little bit more of Carter, give you a lot more of Black Panther, a lot more, and a little in the middle ground for Spider-Man. And you knew the rest of these characters aside from the villains du jour. You even knew about General Ross. Mm-hmm. And they do introduce another guy, Everett K. Ross. I don't even know if there's a relation, but he is like the government liaison to the Avengers now. But
yeah, William Hurt.
That's Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah.
Oh wait, where was the other guy?
Everett K. Ross, Martin Freeman.
Oh, Martin Freeman. Okay,
Yeah.
He's must got such a small role. I can't. Oh, there. Oh, that was him.
Yeah. Funny you should say
Oh.
small role. He was also Bilbo
Oh.
Baggins in The Hobbit.
Yeah, because he definitely looks like a Hobbit even here.
Which one? Where?
We're sorry, Martin Freeman. Blue didn't mean that at
Blue
all.
didn't mean that. Blue didn't know better. Blue's intoxicated. She's enjoying what's.
Didn't mean to
Blue
call you a
has
Hobbit.
sons, and I had to come to work on Mother's Day because the boss runs made us do it.
But anyway, the characters were like the most biggest does. There's a couple. I mean, there's some surprising emotion from Vision, but not all too much if you're familiar.
Oh,
with
he's a plastic robot. How much emotion can he have?
Well, I mean, he had a conversation with Wanda at the beginning of the movie that says, I didn't think about it that way. But otherwise, these characters roll as you expect them to, and they're so well acted. You know what's up with these guys. Come on. I gotta give it to the villain. I'm not talking about Frank Grillo's Crossbones, and he played his part very well. But the mastermind of all this wickedness going on, he surprised me. Dare I say, probably the best villain since Loki. And in some ways, he crushed Loki's track record as a villain. He really worked well.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe that's a spoiler. Go ahead.
That is a bit of a spoiler, and I'm gonna. Well, not really. I mean,
But what I was going to say was probably more in a spoiler territory.
well, we'll save it for the aftermath.
Because
but,
my thug Robin up there.
Yeah, let him be. But I mean, this villain pretty darn good. And I've seen some good Marvel villains. A lot of people don't think the Marvel villains have been good aside from Loki because they feel like they don't have personalities. Their superpowers were terrible. One of the two, if not both. And this guy, took me by surprise.
Go ahead.
But don't get it twisted. This is about the Avengers more than anything else.
I'll be completely honest. I'm definitely. This is probably my most disappointing villain. No, plural. Disappointing villains. This was there was no real villain in this. That may have been a spoiler, and I'm sorry, but
this might be something. I agree with you.
I'll elaborate in the aftermath. Trust me.
I'm going to say the
definitely,
same thing.
but
I need to elaborate in the aftermath because I totally agree with you, and I can also add to a plot line that I think they missed.
I will say this right now: the main villain of this movie, Captain America: Civil War, is summed up in one word: self-righteousness.
Okay,
That's
and
it.
I'll buy that. Now, even with that being said, it's not a spoiler.
Yes.
So we can elaborate on the aftermath.
Yeah, aftermath.
And,
truly, there is.
Self-righteousness up the yin yang with this one.
Well, let me finish this, and I'll drop the mic finally. The story. That being said,
He won't drop it.
that being said,
Their
was-
mic clings to him.
No, he's Magneto.
that is my microphone, and we are called mutants.
Mutants.
Okay. The story, honestly, I've seen so many movies, I forget some of the movie stories that I've seen. As far as the MCU goes, it may be tied for one of the best stories, but it isn't the best story. I think Winter Soldier had a better story overall. It's not the best story, but I'm not dogging it for not being the best story. It was a great story. I mean, I'm not gonna gush over it. It's like, oh, this is the best superhero movie ever, and I mean, because the story wasn't the best story, but it did its job. It gave a lot of surprises. It made everyone who was involved in that movie look like $1,000. Well, not everyone. Not everyone. We'll get to that in the aftermath, but
Yeah.
That the heroes, they looked great.
I couldn't agree more. I liked all the heroes that showed up. Every single one of them. They had their own moment, and it was great. And I know you haters out there for Batman v Superman. You're still out there. Why are you still hating? But I will say this for this movie. They had definitely more of a superhero on superhero action than Batman v Superman, and it was all glorious, and I loved every minute of it. It had a nice well-roundedness from humor to seriousness to just geek-out moments. I mean, seriously, I never thought everyone would be that happy about Spider-Man. I mean, I liked him too, but he was no X-Men back in the day. But when you in the theater, people just loving Spider-Man left and right. He was the breakaway star, but that's not the case because everyone wanted Spider-Man, so...
Yeah, I think you're right there, and I think too that it's the idea that everybody saw this movie with, I would say, marginal to no expectation because they didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they went with open minds versus going to see a lot of the other movies. They have a huge expectation.
Batman v Superman.
Yes, they know the characters well, and they know what's going to happen. I mean, but there's virtually very few times when you really see the Avengers break down and duke it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then to add some peripheral characters to beef up the alliances between the two sides is almost something that's never done. So I think when people saw, this whole thing, and it's almost like a fresh face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude was new.
A lot of fresh faces.
Yeah, a lot of fresh faces. A lot of fresh faces.
Some
And
old classics, some fresh
when we
faces.
start talking a little bit
Yeah.
about the characters, I want to elaborate on some of the fresh faces.
Definitely. Well, we're doing that right now. See, we're talking about the goods right now. So you can elaborate as much as you like, and we may interject if we need to.
That sounds good because I love Chadwick Boseman. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
Who was he?
amazing.
The Black Panther.
He
Oh,
was
yeah.
the Black Panther,
Okay,
and
you-
he brought so much to the role. Number one thing I liked about him, that he was very regal in his whole persona. He wasn't a character that had to have a bionic limb. He wasn't somebody that sat into a test tube and was injected with some kind of crazy serum to make him a certain way. He was somebody who came out of a situation and came out of it like the explosion on the screen, and he got down. And he's the same dude that actually played roles that you've seen in other places,
12
like
Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave, like Jackie Robinson, like James Brown. He's a comer. He's young, he's hot, and he actually did a great job playing Black Panther. I didn't know how I was going to like him in the role, and I actually heard an interview or two where he expressed that, yeah, that's him in the suit doing all that. It's not like a stuntman coming out doing that. That's him, and that made me even have even more mad props for him.
And you look. I mean, it's funny she mentioned his suit. You say he doesn't have all this and all that. He has years and years of high quality Wakandan education. He probably has billions of dollars.
Yes.
He has a super powered super suit and vibranium weaponry.
He's actually a prince/king in the movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, that says volumes about his ability to have access.
So he's fairly
to
well
power.
off, you know. He also has bodyguards, which, by the way, I can tell you
She
this.
reminded me of Mayday.
Yeah, that'll tell you that now.
Yes, she did.
The
And for those of you who don't know who Mayday is, I can't imagine what part of Planet you're on, but if you don't, just speak to who Mayday
Grace
is.
Jones.
Grace
James
Jones,
Bond.
she played it. Yeah.
okay, that
View to a Kill.
bald-headed woman.
Yes.
That was one of Black Panther's royal bodyguards. That one of Black Panther's royal bodyguards. He's usually seen with him in the comic books and in the movies.
Right.
So that's who that was.
Right.
That's why it's like the most minorest of minor roles. But the fact that she got to say anything like "move," and you know what? Look, those bodyguards are no slouches. They can't touch Black Panther. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind entertaining the fact that one of those bodyguards, or maybe even two of them, will get to fight the Black Widow.
Well, you know that it's going to happen. They're not going to fight Widow, but
It
they'll
is
probably
gonna
fight
happen
somebody.
because we know we're going to see this all again.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's one of the things I like about Marvel. They have a tendency to, if you stay at the end of the movie, to get a hint where this is leading.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like every Marvel movie that we've seen of late, they did that. So I don't know if we'll save that for the aftermath, but there is definitely something to stay for.
Oh
at the end
yeah,
of the movie.
you know, not only counting the two that we saw, but Doctor Strange as well.
Oh my God!
Right.
He's showing up.
That's like November.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens in November besides the Turkey Day.
Yes, indeed, we do.
Yeah,
It
and
was-
then like you were saying too, especially seeing that this is actually talking about the goods.
Yeah.
I also want to take a moment on the goods of the movie.
But before you say that, I gotta my thought on what's his name, Black Panther,
Oh yeah, Boseman.
Boseman.
Yeah,
I'll be
Chadwick.
Mr. Boseman. I got to say that when I first saw him, I said, "Oh, he's too young. What's
No,
this?
you
What's
look
this?
good.
What's this Bupastapa doing here? Ruler of Wakanda, get out of here! Come back! You're what's the old Japanese saying? You're 20 years too young before you could wear that suit or something."
Actually, you mean Shunin Hayendeo, which means you're 100 years too early. You're actually
That backlash
80
was made.
years
Wait,
too.
Okay, wait. Just for the benefit of me, can you repeat what you just said slower? That was amazing. One more time.
Shunin Hayendeo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which means
This is 100 years too early. You're actually 80 years shy.
so of course that's why he's the informational emperor, ladies and
Better know
gentlemen.
it.
But
I'm glad I'm only the first lady of media because that's a hard act to follow.
now that is what. But I love how they did the character in the movie. In like the Avengers, the first Avengers, I think, or was it the second? I forget. No, definitely the first. In the first Avengers, it was sort of like Black Widow's movie because we got to know more about her character, her
Yes.
ins, her outs, you know, seeing all these crazy mixed up like superpower people.
Right.
And she's like right in the middle of it. And a little bit of Hawkeye's too, but Hawkeye was like more like brainwashed.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, that is right.
So she had to like deal with that too. But in this movie, it's more like Black Panther's introduction. We get to see him before he wears the suit. You know, he meets his family. Some events happen, and his thought process, even all the way to the end of the movie. I like how they did that. It was like it made me so proud. It made me so proud.
They did a lot of things well in this movie.
Yeah, so
they really did.
And so I'm sorry that I didn't think that gentleman could do the role. I was proven wrong again. I was wrong about Robbie Downey Jr. back in the first Iron Man movie.
As I was too.
Super wrong about that. I'm wrong about it now with Black Panther.
I'm
I'm a big man. I can admit.
Let's go. Also, not forget a Spider-Man of years past, Tobey Maguire. We were wrong about him too.
We were, and I gotta say,
did we say that? I don't know.
Yeah, because honestly, I remember when they said they were going to let this little dweeb. Excuse me, Toby. I'm sorry, Mr. Maguire.
Yeah.
But we were saying, like, we're going to let this little dweeb do Spider-Man? Really?
Mm-hmm.
What, this little young upstart and whatever it was, the Backlash just said. But you know, but for me, I thought too, in terms of this overall characterization of movies, because they've had actors like Tobey Maguire and like Robert Downey Jr. really apprise these roles that typically would not have been given to them and turn these roles out. We're seeing such great actors hit the stage. Now they're looking for actors. They're not just looking for muscle people. They're looking for serious hardcore actors to take these roles, and they're turning them into these amazing, amazing characters, because you're not only getting this physicalness that you get in these movies, but you're getting great acting. Their storylines, if they're even just minuscule, these actors are able to elevate them, if even it's nothing with a one-liner or, you know, a snide remark or a look or a quip. They're able to bring this all so that the audience can really enjoy the whole thing. And so I love that. And I think because of those roles, we're starting to see more and more actors. This film alone had so many actors, I couldn't keep track of how many folks that was actually... I mean, I really couldn't. I mean, I'm looking at easily, let's see, 3, 6, 9... 15, 18, 20. There's 21 on the primary page of actors, and I'm sure there's more than that.
Heck yeah. Any more goods?
Well, there's tons of goods, because I think that the same could be said for the action. You know, I'm always looking
very
for
good
action.
Very well acted, well choreographed.
Yes,
it was like, and I could have believed all the characters would say that in that situation.
I saw a couple of scenes that I think are going to go down in infamy.
And holy
like,
crap,
where they actually have they're like, you know, Titan scene. I think where they froze and did that, they're going to see this scene again. It's going to go down as an infamous.
And holy crap, people, 3 black guys in a movie
that didn't die.
Wow.
Spoilers. If you watch the trailers, that's a big spoiler.
Oh well.
And,
oh come on! Did they really think X character here was going to die? They're crazy.
You know what? But I got to tell you, that was refreshing. It was refreshing.
Although we can't really call it Black Dude Dies First. One spoiler for another, people. Yeah.
But we still think the fact that we can go to the movies and see 2 black guys hang out in the same space, and 3, let alone 3, hang out in the same movie.
Be awesome, by the way.
It's so awesome. Because, you know, usually we get our one token and that's it.
Yeah.
And they tell us to shut up and be happy.
Shut up and be happy with your black guy. Well, I mean,
we didn't want this black guy tough.
Well, I'll say this about Dawn of Justice. They threw us our black guy, told us to shut up. Well, told us to shut up. Had another black guy with them, and all we heard was.
well, to be fair, that was just character building. I'm sure he'll be awesome too when he shows up.
Yep.
Any more?
Well, you know, the other thing I gotta say is I have to give it to whoever is creating these costumes. They are amazing.
Oh,
they
yeah.
look so real. And I don't know if the poor actors have to go through hell to wear them. But for us, it's just a stunning essence on the screen.
Well, Blue, some of them actually do. You see, Chadwick Boseman and Paul Bettany, who plays the Vision, they were so hot in their suits.
I can imagine that plastic
I thought they were hot too.
They didn't
Wah.
like being in those hot suits all the time, you know.
Oh, poor babies.
And you know how long movie shoots
Gotta
are.
work for a living.
Yeah, and it's kind of like going way back, Michael Keaton as Batman. Yes, we're
Yes, I
all old.
remember that.
He can,
Hey, so what? I don't even care anymore. Whatever.
but he couldn't even.
Best Batman, Michael Keaton.
I mean, we literally couldn't turn his head. You watch the movie even closer. You know, there's no way he could
He
turn
said he
it.
couldn't even turn his head.
He had to turn his whole
the
body.
cowl was like,
But it was the best bat suit,
it
though.
was the best. And when he ran, you could see the ears wiggle just every so. It was slow motion run.
You still wouldn't want to see that guy coming at you in a dark alley, and especially with that even toned voice. Like, let me talk to you about something.
Well, I heard
Who's
too,
your dealer?
that Jasmine.
This is the episode of Mistakes.
too many drinks here. I heard that Chadwick Boseman's suit was also ventilated. So it was. He was so ventilated, he didn't even know he was ventilated until after he was taking a break. Like, you could take the suits off if you wanted to while you were breaking, but he said he kept his on because it was just easier that way than to have 10 people peel you out of a suit and then put it back on. So he would keep us on. And it was only after he would take his breaks that he would realize that he was actually ventilated. The ventilation would start kicking in and his fans would start blowing inside the suit. I thought that was pretty cool.
That'd be crazy.
That was crazy.
You're just doing stuff, and it's like,
You know, like, whoa,
Whoa.
well, I'm feeling really kind of good now.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's probably pretty perfect. Now, one thing I did notice too, Robert Downey Jr. is getting a lot more screen time with his suit on and his helmet off. And I think a lot of that is to be said because the actor probably A, doesn't like the fact that he's on stage and can't take his helmet off, or B, he's not the one in the suit for most of the movie and decided, I want to be the one in the suit. I want to be that guy. I don't want to sit in the studio boring and read from a script. I want to be that guy on the scene.
you know what? And that would be something Tony Stark would want to do if he was an actual person. But then again, Robert Downey Jr. said he didn't want to do this stuff anymore. So you would think he would like to sit down and do more cool guy shots and not do all the action crazy stuff.
Well, apparently he finally got what he was looking for.
Which is
Allegedly. I don't know per se, but
1
allegedly.
million,
Da-da-da.
20 million,
Da-da-da.
50 million.
But he basically, he got, I mean, basically he was not going to even be in the Civil War movie, I heard, you know? But that changed because of Kevin Feige. And he's got to run Marvel Cinematic Universe. He used to be a comic book writer. But, but long story short, Robert Downey Jr. got what he wanted, so he should be happier now. He's probably not going to see another Marvel movie up until we get to Infinity War, way, way, way down the line.
I'm sure.
Well, I'm thinking too, one last thing, is this is kind of like on Robert Downey Jr.'s subject matter. You know, like all these actors, even if they have their own stamina and their own street cred and their own, notoriety, when they come on the set, it's Mr. Downey. Mr. Downey, Mr. Downey. And he's cool like that. He's like not requiring you to do it.
He's
would
not
just
crazy
pay
about it.
homage. Yeah. And so like he says, come on over to my trailer and let's kick it for a while. When there's like some downtime in shooting. So everybody has a nice trailer. But they get over to my boy's trailer. It ain't a trailer. It's like trailer extraordinaire. And he's got like butlers and he's got like roll out carpets and he's got people that come and serve you a tray.
Yeah. The good trailer.
It's absolutely amazing. Like you go to his flat, he's like, I'm like the Iron Man. I'm like Tony Stark. Come on in and have Stark lunch.
Stark lunch.
What else? Oh yeah. Here's a question for you, Backlash. So, how did Marvel get Spider-Man, the character, anyway, from Sony? Because I figured they probably have to pay through the roof. Is it a rental? I figured you may know.
I'm glad you asked. Basically, I forgot all the details. Too much video gaming and work and sleep and food and more food. Basically, Spider-Man is on loan from Sony. He's like they're renting out a videotape, a Blockbuster video. For those who don't know what a Blockbuster video is, ask your parents. Basically,
Yeah, because that kind of dates everybody.
And I heard some random moviegoer.
That's what I heard too. That's why I figured I asked you.
Say that that the Spider-Man being portrayed in the MCU is not the same Spider-Man. Well, obviously it's not the same Spider. He's a different character altogether, being played by a legit 15-year-old boy instead of doing some Dawson casting to say this 22-year-old man is 16 or something. But
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if that means, I don't know if that means that they're planning on doing any more Spider-Man movies with just strictly Sony, or if they're just going to hold off until they see what happens with this new Spider-Man movie. Sony still gets profits from this. They still get recognition from this. It's kind of like how the first Iron Man movies and the Hulk movie went before the MCU started proper with Disney.
All right.
So it's kind of a complicated situation, but it's a situation that benefits the fans, because you got to figure, aside from the X-Men and Iron Man now and Batman, Spider-Man is obviously one of the most popular, less divisive characters in the world.
And if people didn't realize it, when they go to see the movie, just watch the audience reaction, as Boss Braun's pointed out.
They were loving it. They were eating it up. If
Eating
they had
it
a
up.
spoon, they would have eaten it up with a spoon.
And once again, folks, this was another movie we went to see. It was packed.
Yep. Once again, we got here early that time. Though.
Yeah, we did. We got here
Tired of
like
missing
an hour
out seats
early.
and getting the front
We got
jobber
the best
seats. Forget
ever.
it.
So if you go early.
Go early. Do it.
Go early.
So what's the deal with Fox? Are they involved in this at
No,
all?
not at all. In fact, it seems like Marvel, both the comics and the MCU, are going out of their way to screw with them, to the point where they canceled the Fantastic Four. The sales recently haven't been that strong anyway. The fact that they just make the X-Men look like complete and utter garbage, and putting their members in other
That's a shame too.
teams. And
It is a shame, but I think everything is kind of like karma. It will come back.
I think so.
I mean, I'm personally under the belief that if Marvel wanted these characters so bad, they shouldn't be just screwing around with Fox and just give them what they want. It's not their fault, but their forefathers sold those rights to Fox for
Survival.
survival. Marvel wouldn't be in anywhere. They had scattered all their properties to the world. And look what's left. They don't have the Fantastic Four. They don't have the X-Men. And they don't have Namor, who's stuck over at Universal, not doing anything under the sea, probably just playing Game Boy. But, the point is, you want the X-Men back. I don't know how you're going to try to stuff them all in one movie with the Avengers, but okay. You want the Fantastic Four back. You play the game. You play by the rules, and stop trying, now that you got yourself some bala bling, and now that you're working with freaking Disney, to just play ball, give Fox what they want, make them happy, and you know what? You don't even have to use the same cast, because they've already replaced the majority of the original X-Men cast because they're de-aged, and this is in the 80s for X-Men Apocalypse, and Hugh Jackman is retiring after X-Men Apocalypse.
And then we all know that's just the way it is.
But just play ball with Fox, will you?
Well, I also got to appeal to Fox. I mean, come on, Fox. This is really not your niche. You're not doing anything with these people. You're not doing anything with these characters. You're not doing anything with the storyline.
We got to see with X-Men Apocalypse.
See,
if
I
they
gotta
can-
disagree. So far, all the after First Class, that's all Fox movies. Those aren't Marvels. And
Okay.
So they've been doing it
So
very
they
well.
have been doing
And
something.
Deadpool too. Deadpool.
And Deadpool's a Fox.
Deadpool's a Fox.
Yep.
Deadpool,
Well,
X-Men
then I'll
Apocalypse.
stand corrected. Let me fall on the sword.
No, that's okay.
Sheesh.
You just didn't know.
Good to know.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
going to happen with Fantastic Four now.
Yeah,
you
see,
know?
that's the problem. Because now Marvel's playing the douche card and said, we're not going to buy these things. We're going to devalue them by eliminating their comic book source material and destroying their
Which
characters.
is really sad, because the only people that lose here
Is that?
is the fans.
Oh,
I feel
well,
like
yeah,
it's
that-
us. I mean, they got so much money, they're not going to really miss it.
That's true. You're
But
very
us as
right.
the fans are going to
Yeah.
really lose.
Because I liked all those guys.
Yeah.
I grew up with Fantastic Four. I grew
Sure.
up with the X-Men.
And I don't really
Makes
want it
me
to
sad.
change. I don't want the jargon to change. I don't want it to be called all these crazy names.
The
I want it-
Inhumans.
Yeah, I don't want to make stuff up.
And you know what the sad part
That
is?
is really
That
lame.
sad part is
Lame.
the minute the X-Men. Here we go. The minute Age of the Shield makes the Inhumans interesting, takes one of their comic book properties from the 616 universe, the Secret Warriors, makes them interesting for the casual viewer. And this is another thing Feige had a problem with Otto Preminger, who also runs a part of Marvel, who wanted the Inhumans movies. They scrapped the Inhuman movie. They scrapped, because, and part of this is probably allegedly because of this rivalry, but part of it is because they got Spider-Man now Now they're gonna Spider-Man everything Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, everything Spider-Man.
And they're gonna do another Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. They feel like, okay, we're pushing it out of existence. Buy it, human. That's like, what was the point of it? You make all these characters cool. I mean, they're a substitute for mutants. I don't like that, but I don't like the fact that you hype this up. You say that Vin Diesel wants to play Black Bolt, their completely awesome leader, and all of a sudden...
I could totally see that, actually. That would be amazing.
I can see that.
And all of a sudden, you're hyping up something in Age of the S.H.I.E.L.D., even though I know that the TV division, the Netflix division, they're divided with the MCU and the movies. You're still hyping it up for this movie that's now not going to exist. That's stupid.
It is kind of stupid. And, you got to ask yourself, who's making these decisions?
Yeah.
Who are the
Stupid people.
Disney, probably.
Well,
Stupid Disney people.
So where are we at?
Well, we're doing a lot of ranging, so let's talk about the bads of the movie.
Did we talk about the goods of the movie?
Yeah, we just did. Remember,
after
after you did the story-like thing, then we talked about the goods.
Okay.
Well, if you wanna
Or
go
did
to-
you have any more goods?
Well, let me just make this quick so we can get to the bats. The story, again, not the best, I don't think, in the MCU. It was a very good story. Where Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and some would say Spider-Man 3 failed to introduce all these characters at once. And to be fair, a lot of these characters were already introduced at one point, and have it work cohesively. This movie took all those characters and made them all shine, made them all awesome. The only one that probably lacks, and I mean the only one, is Everett Ross. They're the new government liaison, but hey, this is probably not going to be even the last Marvel movie with him in it.
Right. I think they're building up this whole persona like they did dude from S.H.I.E.L.D. What's his name? Oh, gosh.
Phil Coulson.
No, the other guy. That guy.
Nick Fury.
Oh, Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're building him up like a Nick Fury kind of esque.
And I don't know what...
We'll see.
And
We'll see.
I was looking at spoilers through YouTube videos about Mark because of the Civil War, because I couldn't stand it anymore. Everyone kept on raving about that fight scene at the airport, and I don't know what to expect. I was expecting nothing but gritty blood, gosh, and it didn't turn out that way. But dang, it was so good. It wasn't as connected as I thought it would be. I was mad that just someone punch this, like you see some wrestlers do finishers after one another. I didn't even get that kind of, but the fight scene was amazing. It was just out of nowhere, people throwing out all these new tricks because you got Iron Man, Tony always keeping up with the times. You got Black Panther, you got Spider-Man, Ant-Man had a new impressive trick. You got to see more of Wanda's powers, and it's just like, and
and Vision, don't forget Vision.
Vision, they blended so much comedy with it.
You know what I love? Vision wearing that shirt,
Yeah.
that collared shirt.
Yeah.
It says, "Hi, I'm Vision.
He wasn't wearing it in battle.
I'm an alien robot with a soul gem on my head.
I know, right?
I'm wearing a
and
shirt.
I'm learning to control.
He's trying to look more human. It's not working.
It's failing.
But I mean,
Vision with no vision.
that scene was really good. Characters, again, pretty good. I like how they brought the Black Panther into this.
I love
that made so much sense because I was wondering, Derpy Derp, how did the Black Panther get into this? And they let me know in a pretty big way.
Mm-hmm.
So, action was good, and story was good. Effects were good, and again, no black people died.
No black
No,
people, no
in
red-shirted people.
That's double bonus
No
points.
red-shirted people.
Yeah.
In fact, everyone you expected to die did not die. It's insane how that worked in this movie. And usually the movie gives you teasers to other movies and caps off its ending for that movie. You didn't feel it like that this time. And that was a surprising resolution for our MCU movie. For people who started to get Delta MCU, were getting bored with superhero movies, watch this movie for that fact.
They say that every time.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yep, they do. This movie is completely different. And again, may not be the best superhero story. It's very close. But it made me a believer that Marvel, have no fears. They got stories for years, folks. Okay, now we can go into that.
Okay.
Well, for me, the bad, and I gotta say, these things are just observations, and a lot of it I'm probably going to say for the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I had a huge amount of bads, but I just kind of felt that I would like to see the plot. There's some missed opportunities, I thought, on the plot. I could have saw some things happening a certain way. So, at the risk of being, divulging a little bit too much here, I think that with the plot, it was adequate. In fact, it was slightly better than adequate. But I think there were some opportunities that really could have taken this movie to beyond belief heights.
I kind of feel that way too, a little bit. I didn't miss out that it wasn't. It wasn't bad that it wasn't there.
It wasn't a drawback that it wasn't there.
It's sort of like Deadpool in that way.
It was sort of like Deadpool in that way.
They could have made it more.
It was sort of like Superman versus Batman in that way. Mm-hmm. There were opportunities.
I like that movie too, but they could have done a little more, I think.
And I think too, a lot of times what's happening is you look at time constraints. You start off with things with these, great actors on your payroll for a given period of time, and then you start running out of time, and they start having to do other projects. So you kind of have to do what you have to do. But I think there were some opportunities of things that they made decisions to change within the constructs of the movie that could have make it a different movie altogether. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of that, I found that was a kind of an observation, not really a bad. The other thing that I found that, and again, I don't hope this is not a spoiler, but just by the virtue of the name of the movie and what you've seen in the commercials and the trailers, I don't think it really is. But it's really about factions fighting each other. It's almost like, you rooted for all of these guys as a team to fight the foe. Mm-hmm. And the movie was so realistic in so many of the elements and so much of the anger that these characters felt at the time, that when you saw them actually confronting each other in battle, it was sad. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that had to happen in order for the movie to be believable, but I found that to be a little bit too sad for me at times. There were some parts of it that I saw things happening that my heart kind of sank, because these are characters I've grown very attached to. Mm-hmm. So that was a little bit of a down. But again, that's a nitpick, because sometimes you have to do this in order to pull off a movie like, Civil War. So there you have it. That's what my thoughts.
Well, I have to agree with you for what a lot of you said, because first of all, there is no real villain in this. It's just self-righteous indignation. That's the theme of this movie, without saying any more. And because of that, the Avengers are now, fractured. It is truly a civil war.
Yes.
And for what? There's no one. And again, I will have to deeply explain this in the aftermath, because I really want to go into detail. But it's just, I don't know. With everything they've been through, everything they've done together, I would think that would earn a little gratis. Like,
bit,
But not really.
Not really.
No matter how far in the past someone's hurt you, you gotta hurt them back. That, for me, for my superheroes, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it when superheroes fight one another. It's interesting. It's like it always goes back to my dad could beat your dad. Both dads are good guys, but when your kids say which dad is the best dad,
my dog's bigger than your dog.
Exactly. It's always that. It's always going to be that, and I enjoy those things. But at the same time, they should always stay on point. We may fight, but when it's go time to stop the bad guy, you do it. No matter what your particular feelings on me are, I'm not the bad guy. Yes. And that's the thing you always got to remember.
I agree.
And that's all I got to say about the bats. That's really all I got.
That works for me.
Well, to your point, it's like, I mean, and not considering it a bad, but I understand. It's like, who do you got on these opposing sides? You have a guy who's trying to. You got Black Panther who's trying to avenge, ironically, spoiler, you got a couple hired guns. You got people who barely agree with Tony Stark filling out the rest of the pro-reg side. And on Cap's side, you got someone who's pulled out of retirement in Hawkeye. And again, you saw the airport, so you know he's in the movie. But it's just like, you got these people who are tentatively connected to this Civil War. And this fight, honestly, the way it got spiraled out of control, it really never needed to happen like this. I mean, I'll admit I missed one part in the movie, but I can tell you how things got so railroaded, how all this happened. It was a tragedy, but all that happened was circumstantial. There's no way it should have gotten this far.
Yeah.
And that bugs me a little bit now that I'm thinking about it. So I'll put it as a bad. But, you know, all this manhunting, it's just like, this is how innocent people get their guilty because they could do something. They have done something. They've cleared their name, or they've never been guilty of something. First, they just look shifty. That's profiling 101, and it happens. In fact, Falcon brought up a Mark Furman joke?
Oh, God.
Mark Furman was the OJ guy.
Yeah, from the
I felt it was so
case.
telling. Let's see. I felt, you know, the more they introduce some of these characters, mainly Spidey and Black Panther and Wanda and Vision, I wanted them to expand it more, but that's like the nitpickiest nitpicks. I understood what this was at the word go. And now I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens with the Iron Man characters. I want to see what happens with Pepper. I want to see what happens with Rhodey. Jon Favreau is a famous director. I want to see what happens with Happy now. Because, you know, just what's going on. Because now I know we're not going to see them for a little bit. You know, it's going to be hard. You know, but you know and
you know, and this has nothing to do with necessarily bad.
Right.
But you know, the reality of it is I hope Robert Downey Jr. knows that no matter what, he cannot quit the series. I mean, even if he's all
in for
white
life.
haired and he's sitting with a cane in the corner somewhere like Professor X, rolling around.
But let me see. And finally, look, I have two theories, real quick. Kevin O'Brien, I think his name. He was named the character, the Guardsman, in a comic book. He, along with Rhodey, were former Iron Man. So you take a young cat, you make him Iron Man once Robert Downey Jr. is only great, or you take that kid from Iron Man 3 and make him Iron Man. Either way, that works with me.
Either way.
But the only real other bad I have is with what happened with Crossroads at the beginning of the movie. How was he connected to the main villain?
I don't know.
Like,
Let me say, I know.
he's connected, but how?
I think you're not saying that for the aftermath. But
He was in there first 10 minutes of the movie. We can let that one go. And I don't know how.
And
I will explain more in the aftermath, but they're really, it's like, I don't know.
I mean, the fact that was the only...
Righteous indignation. You did X to me. Why will happen?
I mean,
and it was like you said, that was the start of the show. That was the villain. Because it was that, and then there was that, and there was that, and it was all righteous indignation.
I'll say this, you know.
Vengeance is God.
I'll say this, that Crossbones, Brock Rumlow, so if I say he doesn't do a lot in this movie, and that does disappoint me. That's not a nitpick, but it's disappointing. You know, I thought he'd do a lot more because Crossbones was a major villain.
A lot longer.
Yeah, me too. And I'm super glad he wasn't Taskmaster because he sort of looked like Taskmaster.
Yeah, Taskmaster would not be going down.
No, that's why I'm glad he wasn't Taskmaster.
Both in the actual way he was defeated, or the way he was just kept just to own them. Spoiler, but yeah, but bad. But that's all the bads I have, because usually I pick more nitpicks or more continuity errors. That was the only one. It's like, how did this happen?
Right.
What's your connection? It doesn't seem like, because if you were a movie insider and you knew who the main villain was, you'd think there'd be more of a connection with what's going on from this movie to the last. But otherwise, that's not true at all in this movie. It's
Okay, so since this is almost like 50 minutes long,
wow,
let's give it a quick synopsis and our rating. I give it a platinum pass for perfection because it is a near perfect movie. And I enjoyed it. I like the characters. I like the stories. But I really, 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 really wish there was an actual villain and not just grief.
yes,
grief.
Vengeance and grief.
self-righteousness.
Yes.
Yes.
What can I tell you? I wanted to see, aside from wanting to see more out of War Machine, because I love War Machine as a character. You know, I wanted to blaze more guns, have more than just this taser bat out of nowhere.
You know they got that from A Force Awakens, by the way, with that one stormtrooper with that like
that
Tonfa Batleth thing, and then it was like, you know, they sold that idea and said, we'll do that too.
Yeah. But
we're both owned by Disney. We might as well have both Electro Bats.
You and I both know the reality of it is that any newbies to all of this, any newbies that didn't know any of these characters, and any newbies that didn't know anything about Marvel and the universe and the comic books or anything, for those folks, they would go and see all this terrific action on the screen, and they would see these, you know, War Machine, and they would see all these other great characters, and they wouldn't have a clue what's going on. They would totally be mystified and totally confused. So I think that there's an awful lot to be said for people who go to the movie and people who make the movie to understand that a lot of it is a legacy. There's a lot of history. And if you don't have that history, sometimes you miss some things. You go there and you feel like you're enjoying it, but you're not quite sure what happened. You feel like there's something more to it. Because when War Machine when War Machine had a mishap, you know, there's so much in that scene that people have no idea about, that have never seen any of the universe before. So I think there's something there too, that it's not a bad, but it is something that the producers should think about, because there's a lot of people that are going to constantly be new Avenger fiends, new Marvelites that need to be quickly brought up to speed, or at least felt to know that they understand it.
What you give your rating?
The grading I'll give the same that you. It was no question about
Platinum
that.
Pass?
Platinum Pass.
Did you give a rating?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was trying to, but we kind of got off topic.
Yeah, we did.
All right, so aside from seeing more from War Machine, the guns aspect of it, and not the Electro Bat, maybe use some arc reactor technology to do a Unibeam or something, be a little bit cooler with the War Machine. And so far, my feeling on War Machine in the MCU is like how I feel about the X-Men. They're good, but they could be great. But aside from him, everyone in that battle, my word, but they just it was so great. It was good. The story is great. The action is great. I think I've went over all this before. And while I know you don't agree with me, I thought the main villain, if you can call him that, was decent enough. I felt he deserves his high marks because he took me to a place completely different from every other greedy, power-hungry, even more self-righteous villain. Wake up. Just thinking about that villain, that quote-unquote villain put me to sleep. But again, we'll talk about it in the aftermath. So, with that said, Platinum Pass of perfection.
So, no doubt, people, Captain America Civil War is a near-perfect movie. That is awesome. And if you like superhero movies, it is a go-see-this kind of now thing before it gets too old and passé. Yeah. So, this is the one true Omni Gamer, Boss Ron.
Any information on Emperor True Backlash.
And the First Lady of Media on Mother's Day, Blue.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody!
Hey.
Where's the Fat Gamers Day or the Informational Guy Day?
It's all rolled up into Mother's Day.
Well, where's my present?
Keep it up, Marvel. We love your work. And X-Men Apocalypse is next.
And by the way, folks, do subscribe. Make sure you press the like button, and always understand that there's so much more to us that you might miss if you do not subscribe.
Yeah, honestly, the real reason they went to Civil War is because one guy didn't want to subscribe because he was just a jerk.
Yes.
Now all the Marvel guys hate him.
Yeah, and you know
Don't
how
be
it
that
is.
guy.
You don't want to see tears rolling down the cheeks of Iron Man, do you?
No.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.